Oh, it's PVG's phone. Oh. I was like, we're already messed up. Welcome, everybody. It's Sunday night. You know what time it is. It's time for Technically Trek, the podcast.
Trek,
and
the podcast.
I'm Crewman Tommy. I guess I shouldn't call myself a crewman when I got...
Command Gold.
Captain
and
Braids.
Sacrifice Red.
But it's trick or treat on the Enterprise. Oh. We just lost Crewman.
There he is.
Oh, you're back. We lost you for a second.
Oh, I've lost you for a second.
Oh, I'm having a problem. What's happening?
Not sure.
I just did a speed test and it was smoking fast. Man. And as soon as we go live, it's not smoking fast anymore. It's probably the dog barking alert on the ring, using up all the bandwidth.
So it alerts you when your dog barks?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because it could be a sign of trouble. That's all.
The dog barking is the sign of trouble. Y'all can't hear your dog bark?
Well, in case we're not home.
Who cares?
I remember watching Lassie. Lassie would bark, and their owner said, "What? Lassie? What? Timmy fell in a well."
Right.
Like, bitch, how did you...
Lassie had subtitles. They had a universal communicator for Lassie.
Yeah. Like, oh, what? The bank robbers ran and they took so-and-so?
Right.
And somebody broke his leg? Oh, no. And the other one went to the southeast and one went to the northwest? Oh, and they're riding a black horse? Bitch, how do you get that from Woof Woof?
That was, they did the same thing on Toy Story with a Bullseye.
I don't remember that. I don't know if I can watch Toy Stories anymore. The older I get, the more emotional I get. So,
yeah, I know. You get attached.
When Lotso's, I'm like, damn, this is like some Avengers Endgame drama shit going on right now. Like, oh, shit, I don't want to go. Like, fuck.
Top 10 villain.
Right, Lotso.
We got Crewman Mgyx.
Hello, peoples. Straight off the grill.
Okay.
On Alpha Centauri 17.
What are they eating?
So normally I have a chicken that I used to make all the time, and I used to grill it at the clubhouse, and then people started smelling it and then buying it, and club got pretty pissed about it actually, because I was selling shit after we ran out of steaks. I was like, I'm literally here cooking my lunch for the week, like I did meal prep. I'm like, and you motherfuckers are buying my food. So I was gonna make some of that again, but I found Kinder's has like this, the taco seasoning packs. So I saw some of those. I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a try. And so I cooked some of those up on the grill today. And then Mom's was kind of finicky on what she wanted to eat, so I had to change up my plan and I want to say deflavorize it, because everything besides ketchup is just too hot for her. But then she puts hot sauce on everything afterwards. So I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, I had to like unmarinate my chicken that I had been marinating for a day and a half. I was just like, whatever. And then by the time I was done, I was like, shit, I need to get on for the episode. So I just threw it on the kitchen counter and put the grill on high heat, flash cooked it and threw it on the counter. Wait a little bit. What the hell is that?
That was me again, sorry.
It actually said it in the audio. And we're going to say hello to PVG.
What's up?
Crewman Pivig.
Crewman Pivig.
Hello.
That's the short name on it.
And you also had a busy day?
Oh, yeah. Working on
I
that.
gotta say, man.
Working on a lot
I gotta
more.
question some of the links you be sending me.
What?
I'm just like, man, what's this dude doing all day? Like, I question how Crewman Tommy finds some of his sources.
Oh,
and one of these days, we're gonna
are carefully curated.
I'm like, how do you even get how do you even type this in to like get this?
No, I don't search for anything. This is just what the algorithm thinks I want to see.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You had to, and I literally, you said that in my head when I was thinking of asking you this. Like, I didn't type this in. This is what the algorithm says. But I'm like, you've got to have typed in something beforehand.
Now, you know what it is?
Leave the algorithm and
let me tell you.
Hey,
let me tell you what it is.
See this.
It's the. I'm trying to think of a way to say this.
Just make some shit up.
No, I'm not making this up. I'm trying to say this as gracefully as possible. But when you're sitting on the throne and you're looking at TikToks, and then it's time to wipe, right? You set the phone down. You gotta be careful what video is on your phone when you set it down, because that's probably gonna loop 4 or 5 times, depending on the situation. You know, hopefully it only loops once or twice, but it may loop 15 or 20 times.
How long are you in there?
You know, depending on what you ate.
Hey, man. Hey, I will say this. You cannot, and I used to joke about it, you know, when I was a kid. You know, older people used to say, you know, hey, you guys be pushing all that out. You're going to blow out an O-ring. As you get older, you can't be pushing. You can't be rushing things. You got to let it take its natural course. Otherwise, it could fuck up your whole day. You can pinch one off too early, and then it's sitting there marinating, and you think you got a little bit of gas, and you're like, nope, we got backfill from before.
Oopsie.
Yeah. So I try to pick a good video to wipe to.
That's what I'm saying. What video are you picking to wipe?
I mean, usually it's dancing girls, right? That's the dancing girls. And from there, TikTok says, oh, well, let's push it a little further. Let's take it to the next level than dancing girls. You know, they try different directions. And that's not a direction. I mean, I think I probably ruined things by sharing it with you guys. They probably think, oh, well, he must like this. He's sharing it.
I don't know, but yours was at one level. You have not reached PBG level. PBG level.
Oh my!
How is this even? How did this pass? Like, can I get a job running the audit department or whatever? Because somebody's slacking. And I'm for it.
Are you talking about the videos of our endorsements? No.
No. Those are simple. Those are AI generated. I'm talking about the other stuff.
The real stuff.
Right.
The ones that are real situations. Oh, and we had a busy night last night. Another prom. Another weekend, another prom. One more to go next Saturday, and prom season will be over. Crewman Sherry with a question.
That's a good question.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't see it.
She says, how often are you wiping down your phones?
Well, I have a Bluetooth headset.
That's legit.
So, typically, I will put on something audio-based and just leave my phone wherever, and it will just play. Usually, honestly, it's a Gary Owens or the midget comedian. Something where I don't actually have to see it. Because I found that if I take my phone in with me, I'm extending my throne stay probably 10, 15 minutes more than it needs to be.
Do you ever have one of your legs fall asleep? Oh my God.
This is why I stopped doing this. Yeah. That's why I say, you know what? Just stop taking it in there. If I want to be entertained, I'll put on some music. I'll put on a comedian. Even if it's a Instagram, usually it's a Facebook because it goes a little bit longer. So I'm like, all right, this is a little 12-minute Gary Owen bit. I should be good. So I don't really
to answer the question, though, from Crewman Sherry, once any type of cleansing activity starts, there's no more contact with the phone. Right? I mean, it's not like I'm one-handing it. You know, I'm not.
You're watching on one hand and wiping on the other.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So that's not happening. So the phone is set down. and then all cleansing happens, and then all hand washing is, like medically approved, NIH certified hand washing. And then, the phone can then be, you can recouple with your pad device.
Well, you got NASCAR certified hand washing, so what, like, you going for under 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
You said NIH certified, so I'm like, is that either NASCAR or rodeos? Like, where you're trying to do, like, your pit stop in under X amount of seconds?
Dry wash.
Yo, all right, so funny thing.
I just go right to the face towel.
What happened, and I'm pretty sure I remember this in grade school. What happened to dry soap?
Dry soap?
The granular
powder?
I remember pink. Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty. Gosh. It's like,
Yeah, so here's the thing that I thought about. I was like, okay. And I was like, I hated it as a kid, but now as you're an adult, you're like, well, that's some natural exfoliating soap.
Yeah.
You pay extra for that shit now. Whatever happened to it, and why can't you buy it in the store?
it was like Comet, pink Comet.
Yeah, but you don't need water?
Well, yeah, you do. You
do.
lather it up.
Yeah, you pour it as like powder, like pink Kool-Aid in
Well,
your
isn't
hand.
that what they use in the prison jokes, right? Like, don't use powdered soap in the shower at prison?
Yeah, I don't know. About that.
All right.
Again, this is an algorithm thing that is barely Crewman Tommy.
Here we go.
Sherry says, can you imagine how filthy our phones are and we put them up to our mouths?
Yes, Infinity's daughter did an experiment where she had to wipe down like 4 or 5 different surfaces and then grow whatever is picked up in a petri dish. And the most disgusting one was someone's phone.
Probably, yeah.
But
I'm not shocked.
Crewman Sherry, you do realize that because of the amount of germaphobes that are out there and the cleanliness that we think we need, this is what leads to the cause of diseases that are very hard to cure, like COVID, because our body builds up immunities to these little microbes and whatnot as we grow up, and then when you remove them, our body doesn't know how to handle the next generation of pathogens. Say a pathogen, put it back into Star Trek using pathogen terms.
Okay, well, let's commit to sanitizing our phones and washing our hands.
I definitely will sanitize the phone.
But let's talk about the animated series from 1972?
72, 73.
Now, what we were going to do is watch episode 2, season 1. It's called Yesteryear. Now, we did watch the meat and potatoes. I can fill you guys in on the rest. You can probably guess what happens. So this is an episode where Kirk and Spock, they go back in time 20 or 30 years just to witness what this, there's this planet that monitors time, like temporal activity. And they invited Kirk and Spock to go along on one of their expeditions where they just witness old history. Well, when they returned, nobody knew who Spock was because they took Spock back to the exact moment that he time traveled a previous time. And this, to me, is broken logic. I think this could be considered bad writing.
And they didn't take the Enterprise to go back in time with the slingshot effect. They went through a portal.
They went through the I see everything.
Yeah, the
portal.
ring. The ring
Yeah.
that's in the OG episode and in Discovery and
Yeah.
in the cartoon and in Lower Decks.
So they went back through the ring, and because Spock at some other point in his life went back in time to save his younger self, I think the whole thing is a paradox. How did Spock ever become an adult if he dies when he's a child? When he's an adult, he saves his childhood self from getting killed when he was, 10 years old or whatever. But how does he ever make it past 10 to begin with, to get old, to go back and save himself?
Because as the time traveler observing, you are shielded by the effects of time travel. And they explain that in one of the OG episodes, the TOS episodes, because it said, actually it's the one where where they go back and try and save Joan Collins, but need to let her die.
Right.
And they're like, well, because we're on the planet with the time traveling device, we're shielded from the effects of time. You're shielded by the
No, I get that. I get those those are also, how they handle first contact, right? When when Picard and the Enterprise E go after the Borg cube going back in time, they actually for a split second see the Earth, population 9 billion, all Borg. And then they continue to go back in time following the Borg sphere.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, if Spock died when he was 10 years old, but then his adult self came back and saved him, how did he ever become an adult to begin with?
Because he's shielded.
No. I'm saying in the original timeline, he dies when he's 10 years old.
No, that's an alternate timeline. See, here's the thing. If Spock never went back to begin with, if Kirk and Spock never went on that time traveling issue, none of this would have occurred. That's the thing. It's a branch. It's kind of like Marvel, how they have the strings. So if they never went back to begin with, Spock would have never died. This whole thing never would have happened. But because Spock did, he does die. It is literally like all good things.
Right, but what he says...
The action in the future affected the past, which led to the future.
Remember what Kirk says. What did your cousin look like, the cousin who saved your life? And he said he looked like I'd look now, right?
Yeah. So
he basically was admitting that old Spock is the one that went back and saved child Spock. Correct. And that was original. That was the original timeline. They went back and they messed it up when they went in this, when they went through the ring, they messed that up. So he wasn't able to save him. So then Spock does die when he's 10, and the Andorian becomes the first officer.
Then I have no idea.
Yeah, so at some point Spock had to previously go back in time to save his younger self.
Oh, but they are still OG timeline. It's still 3 days behind. Aha!
So he could have went when he was 11.
I think it's two parallel universes overlapping each other.
It has to be a different timeline.
Right.
That's what I just said. It's a timeline. It's the branches. I'm using MCU terms. Pruning the branches. I'm using TVA.
So when they so here's what doesn't make sense. If it is a multiple timeline, Spock goes back a second time to fix it, right? He goes back and he saves his younger self. But Kirk doesn't go back. So then when Spock comes back, Kirk still remembers who he is, but there's still part. So does Spock come back to a different timeline? See, this is a mess. This episode, I think, is a mess.
Shitty writing of time travel, and this is, like I said before, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think they thought it through enough.
First of all, the original crew at Enterprise is still 3 days behind the rest of reality because they time traveled and then started going backwards and they never caught up.
Right.
Then and that was through using the warp engine. The Enterprise is literally the fucking first DeLorean. They had warp 8.88. And then you saw some serious shit. If you know, you know. So they already went back once in the first episodes, and they're 3 days behind. They never make that up. They go back again, and they never. They forget that all we have to do is initiate a warp bubble to travel in time. They forget that and decide, let's slingshot around the sun, which again throws them forward and backwards in time. So you're still out of sync with reality. So that's just within like the first 5 episodes of the original series. So theoretically speaking, the Enterprise crew is completely out of time and all sorts. So yeah, I could see all this fuckery happening because they never fixed any of the stuff to begin with, and that's just the character-wise living in.
Based on
life. But
based
in real
on
life,
that,
the writers never solidified. Hey, this is how we're going to time travel. This is how we're going to time travel. See, that was an anomaly right there.
Right.
They never fixed how they're going to time travel. The memory of, you guys do know how to time travel in this movie. Then you forgot how to do it in another movie. They never solidified, like wrote a movie Bible. Like I guess that's what they do now. Like,
I don't think they had back in the 60s and 70s. I don't know if they had the mental capacity to think about time travel the way we can think about it now. To them, I feel like back in those days, they just thought it's magic. Like they didn't really think of it as there needs to be some science behind it.
I think they thought of it like, what is the one with the guy that sits in the chair with a spinning wheel?
Time machine.
Yeah, the time machine.
The time machine. I think that's the way they thought of it. Is just like you said, it's just magical. It just happens.
Yeah.
And they didn't think logically through any of the shit. But
yeah, there's a lot that bothers me.
Think of that.
Every time travel situation back in the older, up until like, I think First Contact, I was okay with the time travel that happened there. I still don't know how they don't really they don't show them coming back to the present because there's got to be some science to that. Like they should have, in First Contact, after they got Cochrane to do his warp flight, how did they get the Enterprise back to the present time? To their time, to the exact time.
Like initiated a warp bubble because if you're just going to go travel to the sun, you could go to warp.
So you think they probably just did a slingshot around the sun?
No, see, and this is what I'm talking about. At the end of First Contact, I could have sworn you saw like a Earth view of the Enterprise jumping off into warp from orbit, orbit going into outer space, but you don't see if they well, no, they don't have to do that. They Enterprise D and Picard, they use the tachyon, the tachyon emitters.
Yeah,
because that's how they got there to begin with.
Right.
So they just do that, which again is why are you doing that, and why are you not just using your magical warp bubble factor intermix? Why do you got to do all this other shit? We gotta get enough tachyons.
Well, maybe with that method they can only go backwards. Maybe with the intermix they can only go backwards.
But the OG Enterprise did it both ways. They went back in time and they went forward in time.
Yeah. Well.
And I just thought about this too, and I may have my dates wrong, and I don't want to age anyone, but the show was done in the late 70s, so that means the writers were probably in their 30s and 40s, which means when they were kids growing up, they didn't have any shit like this.
No Doctor Who?
So they didn't have any. They didn't have, I want to say, the imagination that a kid today would have. Like, think of it back then. Like, your grandparents would never know what the concept of a cell phone as a child growing up, or the concept of a cordless phone. They grew up with 1 or 2 channels. They grew up with radio, and that was it. Like, in their minds, even in their 20s, radio
Telegram.
was
they probably
radio
had Telegram.
was the limit of technology. Like, oh my God, that's awesome. Eventually we're going to be able to listen to radio from all over the world. They never thought of, we can watch TV. And if they did see TV, they saw it as black and white, and that was the limit of their mental technology capabilities. TV's always going to be in black and white. It's never going to get any better than this. We're always going to have these 3 channels. Maybe we'll get 5. But that was it. So the writers grew up in that time, and maybe that's why they weren't able to think of these things, because they didn't have that imagination as a child growing up, because that technology that just didn't exist.
Right. I mean, it's like thinking of in the 4th dimension. Like they say that there's all these dimensions out there, but we can't fathom anything more than 3 dimensions. Because our mind has just never been exposed to any way to kind of process 4 dimensions. Like what would we even think of? But you mentioned the younger generation, and that got me thinking of one of the topics on our thumbnail is today's generation, and maybe the next few generations, based on the trajectory of our young people that are taking over the world. Do you see a Star Trek happening in the future of the children of today? Like look at Gen Z and then the next Gen A or whatever it's going to be. Do you see them coming up with a society that needs no cash, a peaceful society?
Yes. Yes and no. I foresee
a smart society.
Star Trek. Yeah, that's what is it? Speculative or based on perspective. I see them. If you're asking if there's going to be a Star Trek, there'll be like a Star Trek Academy, and it'll start out as a TV show and then lead to a reality show that is going to be completely diverse, completely. What's the DEI whatever? What is that term?
Equity, inclusion.
Completely inclusive. Going to be very much like Discovery, and it's going to start out with being sci-fi to get us in there, because we're the buying power right now, and they're going to need money, but it's going to bleed into a social network type of. People don't, in the show, it's going to lead to people not needing money. It's going to be based on what your influence, what you did on the gram or on whatever they call, what you did on the L cars, whatever.
I mean, but do you think that leads into like what we see from
reality?
like what we see on Star Trek, right? Where they are just out exploring and looking for knowledge and looking for peace. Everybody's peaceful and, we want to be friends with everybody, like the Janeway mentality. Like, do you see that in our youth? I don't.
I don't either.
What are your thoughts? All right,
I'm thinking just right now, just the International Space Station. I would love to know what the dynamics are right now. You got all these different people in this space station that right now, what are they doing? How do they interact? Of course, they have their tests, their labs, their experiments to do. What socially, how do they spend their time? How do they interact with each other? I think that would be a good show. I feel like the ISS is probably the equivalent to like a real world, like 5th or 6th season, because they're not going at each other's throats. They're definitely not as harsh as the first 2 seasons, and they're not as shallow as the later seasons come. I think they have their disagreements, but I think they come together for common ground because they are all of an age where they grew up with science and things like Star Trek. That's what I was saying. I don't think, unless more and more parents, and I asked PBG and Thomas first, because y'all are the parents. You guys have the kids. I don't. But I can simply see the youth around me, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? I see it as those kids, unless their parents are pushing imagination and science and getting away from
hey, just, and it sounds corny as hell because I know my parents said it once or twice, and I got slapped the shit out of me once for it because I gave a smart ass answer. If your friends jump off a bridge, are you gonna do it? Well, yeah, if we got bungee jumps or parachutes, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. My mom tried to slap the shit out of me. My dad was like, the boy's got a point. He wanted to join the army.
How
So,
many
yes,
young people? Here's the problem: is young people aren't interested in ISS. Young people aren't interested in, like, you remember like 20. Remember during the space shuttle era, every kid was interested in that shit. Kids were interested in the space shuttles.
And that's what I was saying. Kids, unless you have parents that push science on their kids, no, we're never going to get it. We're never going to make any new moves in the space because the parents are not pushing it and the kids are leading the influence. The kids are all about influence. And that's why I honestly believe this world is going to go to hell in a handbasket unless we have alien interaction or a natural disaster that pulls the entire country or world together. It's just going to lead into like the Black Mirror verse of it's all about your influence, and your influence really doesn't mean jack shit in reality. It's just what you think it means. Like, oh, you're so cool. Your coolness doesn't pay for a meal in
Your
reality.
Clout.
Your clout gets you, oh, it's like Trump. Oh, Trump is broke. But because his name is Trump, he could go to a New York restaurant and get a meal for free because the restaurant owner or the head chef thinks, oh, that guy's just so cool, I'm going to give him this meal for free. But he's not really paying for anything. He's not really giving anything of substance that helps anyone.
What about...
man, all these people with clout have no real skill to offer.
Think about what happens in the Star Trek universe. What does it take to bring the world together to then come up with, the technology to... I mean, initially, right?
You got the Borg interaction multiple times from when they crashed on Voyager, when they crashed on Archer. You had the Klingons blowing up a ship. You had First Contact.
Well, I'm talking about like before Earth ever had a warp drive, right? Before the warp drive was ever invented, like it was World War III. World War III had to happen to reset everybody and say, like, because you know what, we got to change our priorities. Because right now, like you said, the priorities of this young generation is clout, social clout.
I don't think it was the war. I mean, the war happened to be there, but because of that war, scientists and a group of scientists, because you notice everybody if you look at First Contact, everybody at that little compound was like a prepper community, and it was like, hey, I'm going to build a ship to get off the planet. Fuck the world of all the war that's going on. I don't care about that. We're in our own little community. We're self-sustaining. And they became that unit because of the World War III. And then they just concentrated purely on science. And that led to him making a warp engine.
Right.
He wasn't doing that for anybody else. Wasn't doing that for clout.
I mean, would that have...
Let's get the fuck off the planet.
What are the odds that would have happened without the war?
It probably would have happened, but probably would have taken like another 50 to 100 years because of bureaucratic bullshit. Something would have to cause that group of people to start that community outside of where they're at. Some war, it could have just been PBG and Crewman Tommy we're sick of the rat race. We're going to go get our stuff and we're going to build a community where there's no one at. We're just going to concentrate on building our families, gathering our friends, and and we're going to do a podcast, and that podcast is going to lead to science shit, and it's literally you're walking away from society, which allows you to strive and flourish with your own stuff, because you can't do that in today's society because someone is always there putting their thumb on you, holding you down for whatever reason. Whether it's politics, whether it's money, whether it's regulations. Hell, look at it right now. You can't fly a drone over a certain height without an FAA license. How do you expect anyone to build, their own personal flight craft?
So So right now, let's think about this. They ended the space shuttle program. I feel like the space shuttle program was one of the coolest things, like of our time.
Definitely.
They ended that. I mean, do you think that they ended it because it was getting people excited about space? And maybe someone in the government said, you know what? Let's just pull the rug out from all this space travel shit.
PBG, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think today kids take things for granted. Back in the space shuttle days, it was long and in between before each flight. They would have to refurbish the shuttle so it can go up to the next time it goes up in the air or in space. But now you got SpaceX. They're going every other day. They're landing. Oh, here's a perfect example of kids taking things for granted.
Katy Perry.
Oh, I don't even want to go there.
The flying dildo.
Yeah. My
hey, Dick, look over there.
Crewman Tommy, he reached out today and he said, hey, I don't even know what we were talking about, but he was taking his daughter over to ride a horse. And I think, okay, that's cool. She likes to ride horses. And then I'm thinking of my daughter. My wife has 2 horses, and my daughter, she couldn't care less. They're just like a dog. She has no desire to ride a horse. I have no desire to ride a horse. It's just, I guess they taking it for granted. And now kids, I think they're taking it for granted.
It's because of that song, Save a Horse.
Ride a cowboy.
Ride a cowboy. So ironically that you bring that up. So,
I think there's a lack of imagination these days, big time. All you see is just remakes of movies. It's very seldom you see a good movie that was, I don't know.
I know a movie they need to remake because ironically enough, ironically you brought the space shuttle because I got a clip from a movie on one of the grams or on one of the real socials, whatever. I was like, hey, I know this movie. It's like, well, I haven't seen it in a really long time. And it was fucking Space Camp.
I remember that.
So the power didn't go out yesterday, but the internet was out to some sort. It was out for like 6 hours. So I ended up watching Space Camp, and then of course my Plex server has everything alphabetically. So right next to Space Camp was Space Cowboys. I was like, you know what? I'm watching both of these.
Space Camp it was a space camp, and they accidentally got the shuttle to fire off, and they go into space.
Yes, by having a thermal barrier failure. And I thought about it, and I was going to bring it up today anyway. I was like, I understand why they had to cancel the space program, or the shuttle program, and it's because the shuttle program is from the Vietnam era. Like, as much as people think, it's from, the Cold War. I was like, no, that shit, just like the SR-71, it got released to the public like 15 years after it was already made and flying around. You just didn't know about it. Same thing with the space shuttle. And when you get 3 space shuttles like that are exploding and you're using the same design, it's time to revamp it. Now, I honestly would love to see the space shuttles from Armageddon be made, but I don't think that's going to happen unless it already is happening. I definitely don't believe we need to rely on Elon and SpaceX to go up. I think that does need to be. I think you need some more insight and government backing on it, because otherwise, the next thing you know, we're going to have Delta shuttle, Southwest shuttle, Pan Am shuttle, and then you're gonna, and yes, competition breeds. I forgot what the term is, ingenuity or engineering or whatever. But at some point, I want some backing. I want some guarantee. Like, I want, hey, you know what? This was paid by tax dollars. You know, they spent $15 million on a toilet. I'm okay with that. Elon's like, yo, we went down to Home Depot. We got this shit for $500 and painted carbon fiber on it in our garage. No, I'm good. You know, I'm not going to trust that. Me personally.
I think a lot of people take advantage of the government, you know, because, hey, nobody's really watching.
That's where the problem is that people don't watch it. I think there does need some more oversight. Not only oversight, but transparency on it. I really wish that maybe Space Force will be the next shuttle, will be the new NASA. I definitely don't think. Oh yeah, I also watched Moonfall, where the moon is.
Did you watch it? It's not free.
Yes.
I haven't watched it because it's not free.
It is free.
Moonfall? I tried to watch it and it was like, no, you got to buy the movie.
It depends on where you go.
Oh.
I think I watched it on Amazon.
I mean, I got Amazon.
No. It's not even on that. It's on TNT.
Oh, maybe. I guess I could check.
As long as you got.
I'll have to search for it on Hulu.
No, it's not on Hulu.
No, but I mean, I have Hulu Live, so I have all TNT channels. I can search for anything they show.
Okay, as long as you have access to like TNT, TBS on demand, it's on that. But that's that type of thing is where, you know, the whole Diosphere, that was pretty awesome. Like, I totally forgot about that. But that, like PBG said, I think more and more of today's kids are all about the socials, and this is why I can't really stand a lot of kids that are just all about that. It's like, I want to just tell them, you know, go outside and touch some grass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ride a bike.
100%, yeah.
Did you know that they tried to get a 2-hour movie type finale for Star Trek Discovery, but the studio said, we'll pass on that. And they said, wrap it up in 15 minutes on your final episode.
Wow.
It kind of sucks because I would have watched that. As much as woke as Discovery was.
Well, we would watch anything right here, pretty much. We would all watch anything. The
old Burnham and the old book. I would have watched that. I would have been like, you know what, this is a good, because you never get to see it except for Picard. And even with Picard, it was just Picard being old. But you never get to see like if they did this with Riker and Troy, I would have watched it. But
I don't think it's realistic that Burnham would have quit, because she still looks young enough to be like an admiral or something.
I think she gave it up after she got with Book, though. She was like, the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah, but I still think Burnham was too dedicated to Starfleet. I think she would have.
I would not watch it if they turned it into a fucking Hallmark movie. Then I'd just be fucking pissed. I'd be pissed if it was all about
Section 32.
No, just towards the end, it was always about Discovery felt like a Hallmark series towards the end. Like, it was all every interaction was about, you know, we've been through so much together. We could get through this together, and, you know, being together and being a family and being as one and in our hearts and our feelings. And shut the fuck up. Yo, I need that clip from the thing. Shut the fuck up and wash the goddamn dishes.
I think the problem with dishes. Well, and according to this book, says he hasn't even watched the finale because he can't accept that it's over.
Here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Wash the fucking dishes and shut the fuck up!
Yo, I totally forgot. I did a deep dive on her. And, man, she's in so much shit that I did not realize it was her.
What up, John B?
John B
in the chat.
Every time you say his name,
representing Washington County. What else? What other news do we got? Oh, remember when we watched the last episode with the 3-armed alien on Star Trek animated?
Yes.
It's an Nedosian. His name is Eric's.
Look at this.
Wait. What is his name?
Eric's.
Eric?
Eric's.
Okay, I was about to say, if you name this motherfucker Eric, just E-R-I-C.
No, A-R-E-X. Eric's.
Look at that uniform.
He replaced Chekhov, who Chekhov is not in the animated series because he was at Starfleet Academy or something. I don't know what they're trying to say here.
That bullshit. Leonard Nimoy did not
Oh
fight
man,
that.
I might need a refill soon.
Oh, he's got
Check
3
out.
legs.
He also has 3 legs.
3 legs and 3 digits on each hand and
Oh, he's
foot.
only got 3 toe beans.
Wait a minute. Don't we have 3 legs?
No. Oh, I get what you're saying. I
See
get
what I
what
did
you're
there?
saying.
See what I did there?
Y'all don't. I do.
I get what you're saying. So they also live very
Someone down
long,
there?
according to this. He looks kind of like a black dude. I'm just saying. I mean, that's probably why they did the 3 legs thing. That's a compliment. We allies.
I did it.
Oh, sorry, I just set
didn't
off my
wanna see
communicator.
it. I didn't notice it until he said it, and then I'm like, damn, this motherfucker look like JJ from fucking.
See, you was already thinking it. 30th anniversary of Star Trek Voyager. Can you believe
Wow.
that? Damn, we old.
Time to do a rewatch.
Oh, I've been doing it. That and Picard.
I'm still plowing through Enterprise, and I got some beef with some like 4 or 5 episodes I watched this week.
I need to hop back in the TOS. I hopped out for a minute. And
Oh, OG?
catching
Yeah,
random
I
stuff.
watched an episode of OG today, about 90% of an episode, and then I tried to wear the jumpsuit today. that jumpsuit is tight, and as soon as I sat down in this chair, the zipper busted open, and I had to go in and change. So it didn't work out. But yeah, 30 years since Voyager, man, that is crazy. What's next? That's probably it. Oh, guess who? We're gonna play Guess Who.
This is Stamich and his man.
Oh man, you got a good eye. We are diverse here.
thinking,
We're
what?
inclusive. We're allies to the community.
See, this is right here. This is what made it a Hallmark movie in Discovery. I am okay with them doing that. I'm
No,
okay
no.
with it.
I mean, everybody's
I have
fine
no
with
problem
it.
with it. But when you take a 10-minute break out of a fucking hour-long show to talk about your relationship and all that shit, yo, you're fucking with my sci-fi now,
Right.
and that's not all right.
Look, they're just trying to expose you to what the world is really like.
Dude, first of all, I'm Gen X. We were the first to have this shit. All y'all motherfuckers need
No,
to
ain't no
catch up.
party like a Diddy party.
And these two have been kissing since they were fucking in Rent together. Yeah, both of these dudes were in the movie Rent a long ass time ago. That 10,000, 21,600, man. Yeah,
All right,
that
who's
shit.
ready for the next one? I think we've honored our commitment to the community for this episode.
Huh. Oh, I know. That's Kirk.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
no. It's the new
You got to
Kirk.
clarify.
Oh.
You got to clarify.
The one from Strange New Worlds.
Yep, S&W Kirk.
Yep.
Damn, and I even got the labeling right.
He's got your shirt on.
John B got it. And he said it twice. With the emphasis.
You guys are wearing the same shirt, huh?
Oh, look at us. We're like twins.
Yeah, twin cousins.
All right. I hit page down. I got to be careful.
My
with it.
name is Jeff.
Huh.
This is kind of cheating. It is a real picture. It's not AI or anything.
Is it a character? Is
Oh,
it a real
yeah.
actress?
I mean, once you see her, you'll know.
Wow.
It is a girl. Oh, John B. Jumped ahead of you guys.
I don't know.
Huh. Oh, she
Okay.
must have been doing an interviewer. Ready room. Yeah.
The ready room.
Yeah, with the traveler.
The earrings threw me off.
All right.
Eyebrows are throwing me
This
off.
next one will be a quiz. This next one might be tough. Okay.
Okay.
So John B, get ready. Give John B a second. Here we go.
The chick from Section 31 movie,
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's Spock's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. To Paul.
Oh.
Oh, no. Not to Paul. To Pring.
To bring Spock's girlfriend.
To Pring.
John, what do you think?
He's 5 seconds behind.
Holy cow.
Oh, I was right the first time.
Go with your gut. Go with your gut. All right.
And
Well,
she
that
had
was.
to die within the first 10 minutes. That was bullshit.
Look her up in her normal human form.
She reminds me of the gal in the motion picture.
We got another set of quotes.
All right.
Here we go. Quotes from Crewman Patty. Ready?
There came a time when our weapons grew faster than our wisdom, and we almost destroyed ourselves. We learned from this to make a rule during all our travels, never to cause the same to happen to other worlds.
Who knows who said that?
It sounds like Picard.
I think Pike.
I'm
from
going to give
Strange
you a
New
clue.
Worlds.
They said it in a cave. John B's.
I'm gonna go with Picard.
John B's typing.
In a cave.
Let me see if I can get it.
I'm going to play. Ready for me to play? Do you want me to play one more time?
Damn, hold on.
I'll play one more time so you don't have to rewatch it.
I hear echo.
No, I switched over.
He's
and I
trying
got
to
a
cheat.
pop-up.
He's bringing up Paramount Plus.
No, I can't.
Oh shit! I hit the space bar and it went to the next episode, next slide. I thought it was going to replay.
There came a time when our weapons grew faster than our wisdom, and we almost destroyed ourselves. We learned from this to make a rule during all our travels. Never to cause the same to happen to other worlds.
There
That gal
it is.
was hot.
Bang.
There it is. I know she was his friend Tyree's wife, and I guess she had some way to use plants to brainwash you and make you fall in love with her.
Can I say one word? Magumbo.
Oh, look at that! PVG is on point.
Magumbo.
You can't call Magumbo off of just face. You gotta say face Magumbo.
Face
Magumbo's the
Magumbo.
entire package.
I know. I had to penalize him yesterday because it was like a long distance call and he was wrong.
Yeah.
He didn't call 40-foot rule on it.
You gotta call 40-foot rule.
Yep. Yeah, he's got to learn. You know, he's new.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
There came a time when our
Oh, shit.
weapons grew faster.
Sorry. How do I get to the next slide? There it is. Okay, ready for the next one?
Ready. Set.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.
Kirk, Generations.
Mm,
Shatner, Generations.
Oh, see, he sees John B. And he's not going to argue now.
no, it was. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well, from
Ready for the
generations.
answer?
Yeah, you guys are right.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them
I did the space bar last time, and it did the next page.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything.
Just watch this. Like
Takes you off the bridge of that ship because while you're there,
halfway through on one of the.
you can make a difference.
There it is. Thanks for playing.
Don't let them promote you.
Stop it.
What? We only had 2?
Well, it's hard to get the quotes, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to get the
Look
quotes.
for some quotes.
I got the next batch. I just got to get her in here to record them. All right, ready for some potpourri? Some potpourri. Just a few.
Potpourri.
Potpourri. Oh, what's happening here? What's going on with my screen? What is this shape right here? Hold on.
Isn't that the shape from our
Why
draft
is it
list?
doing that? Let me see if it does. Let me see if it goes away with the next one. Oh God, is it going to be on all of them? Hold on. Let me try to reset this PowerPoint. That's not cool. Hold on. Hold, please. Party foul. Oh, it's there on all. Oh, I can already see it's on all of them. All right, well, let's try to plow through it. Man, what is happening?
How many are there?
15. Ah, Shizer.
Most illogical.
I think I'm stuck here. All right. So I party fouled. I
don't know if
blundered.
that came through.
I heard something. Okay. So let me do a view, slideshow. Okay. Which planet's orbit was responsible for time displacement in Tomorrow is Yesterday?
Ryzen 4.
Let me give you a clue. This is the one where a pilot saw the Enterprise in the sky.
Oh, B.
A.
Earth.
I don't know. I saw John's answer.
We've talked about this. This is the slingshot episode.
This is one where they crush the jet instead of gently pushing it away or anything else.
They end up bringing all these people onto Enterprise or whatever, and they just create this big mess. And then at the very end, they time travel the guy back into his ship, into his plane cockpit before they destroy, before he sees Enterprise. And it's like, that's terrible time travel logic. Earth. B. What Klingon legal practice allows a warrior to challenge a high council decision?
I don't know, but Mach 2.
Back kill.
I'm going to say C.
You're going to go C?
Yeah.
PVG, C. John B, A. MGYX. Let's see what the answer is. It's right of vengeance. The right of vengeance allows a direct challenge to a high council ruling. I really have no clue why this slideshow is being weird like that. Because it's not doing it when I just look at it normally. It's only when I'm sharing it. Who served as first officer aboard the USS Kelvin in the 2009 reboot? Who was the first officer of the USS Kelvin?
Kirk.
You going Kirk? You going A?
The mighty Thor, yes.
Robo.
George Kirk was first officer when Robo boarded the alien vessel and got killed. What species is known for the rule of acquisitions?
B.
He going B?
B.
We'll just buzz through the easy ones. What was the name of Worf's human brother?
Nikolai.
Yep.
Adopted brother. Should have clarified that. What was the original purpose of Deep Space Nine station?
Just day drinking.
Strip club.
Gambling.
Cleasy.
Yeah.
I want to say trade.
Well, John B says B, as in John B.
I agree. Trade.
I don't have time for the goody two-shoes bullshit right now.
It was a mining station called Terek Nor.
Huh. Oh, ore processing.
Correct, Noir.
What was the name of the Vulcan ambassador who appeared in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock?
T'Pau.
Talar.
You going A?
Going A.
Magic's going B.
That's a good thing I don't give a fuck.
Emotional damage.
Looks like it is Talar.
Oh.
A. John B was right. And you were right. Magic's was wrong. We're not one of those societies where we just sugarcoat everything and everybody gets a trophy. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right now.
We will chastise you. We will, demoralize and demean
Kick you when you're down.
Before we move to the next slide, let me say that's the difference between this Star Trek podcast and other Star Trek podcasts, because there's a lot of other Star Trek podcasts. But this Star Trek podcast, we will belittle each other. We will demean each other. If one of us says something stupid, we will not. If you watch these other Star Trek podcasts, all they do is just try to tap dance around each other. Just be honest. If you don't agree with something, don't say you agree with it. All these other Star Trek podcasts, they all just agree with each other on everything. It's come on.
Us, on the other hand, we are all about the...
Brother, what's that?
Wash the fucking dishes and shut the fuck up!
Yes, we are not agreeing. I mean, we agree a lot, but we also disagree a lot, and we're not afraid to say it. We're not worried about hurting each other's feelings like you see on the other Star Trek podcasts. So that's why you should be subscribed and tuned in to this podcast. Notification bell on. You know the drill.
Yep.
I do want to give a shout out to another podcast, if that's all right. Well, I'll wait for the end.
No, go ahead. Do it real quick while we're talking about other podcasts.
Sci-Fi Savage.
Yes. We like her. Yeah. We like her.
Yo, I don't know if y'all that is a good show. It's a one-person show, but the chat community is on point, and we have the discussions, or they have the people in the chat, me included, have the discussions that this is the thing. These are the discussions that we used to have closing up Pizza Hut at 2:00 in the morning. Shit like, what character would you be on Star Trek? And it's not one of those oh, are you Superman or Batman type things. Jokingly, it is a legit. That's the kind of shit that we would talk about. Me and Tom would talk about, Tony, back in the day.
Did Sci-Fi Savage work with you guys or no?
No, I just came across it. I think Tom pointed me to it, and I fell into it and started watching it. And I'm giving her a shout out. I want to give her a shout out on our channel. I don't know if she's watching. I think I've shared a link with her a couple of times, but definitely a good show to check out along with our own. Maybe one day we could do a collab together, because she is on the same wavelength as all of us.
Fishing on the same side of the boat.
Stuff.
Right.
Exactly.
No
Unless
doubt.
Tom fucks it up and then you got to move to the other side.
No, I mean, we're still sort of there. We make fun of people. We make fun of each other. We make fun of other people. And it's all in good fun.
Heck yeah.
It's all
we
in
definitely
good
make
fun.
fun of Star Wars people.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yours went out. Oh, there it is. Oh, I got a bad cord. I got a short in my cord. As soon as I touched this wire, my left ear came back, and now it sounds much better.
And that's why you don't have a third leg.
Next question. What species communicates entirely through metaphor?
Tamarian, I think.
Yeah, I got it. Magic.
You got an example you're going to give us?
Oh,
Darmok Enchilada Tanagra.
Dude, I can never fucking remember that saying.
Yeah, it was an awesome concert. Enchilada.
Actually, I was flipping channels, and I think that episode came on. Yeah. What was the first name of the Federation scientists who developed the android Data?
Is it data or is it data?
Depends on where you're from.
It's B, by the way.
My name is Jeff.
What?
Noonian. Dr. Noonian Soon.
Eric Soon. Yeah, Eric Soon. His first. Well, okay.
All right, three legs.
I'm just saying. Eric Soon was the first name of the one because that's in Picard as well.
Oh, here's an easy one. Which medical officer briefly served aboard the Enterprise D before returning to Starfleet Medical?
Pulaski.
Hey, yeah.
Pilyaski. Oh, speaking of which, I was watching OG episode Private Little War, and it's the first episode with Dr. Mbenga. OG version.
OG?
Yeah. Who genetically modified himself to enhance his career at Deep Space Nine?
A.
I would say B.
A tit enhancement.
Let's see what John says. Mom, but just for the hair. A.
Bashir. Bashir's background as a genetically enhanced individual was revealed something because of my stupid PowerPoint, my PowerPoint blunder. What's the name of the virus that infected Odo and other changelings?
COVID.
The Vodian flu.
B. No, I have no idea.
You just saw John.
Yeah, I just saw John.
It is the morphogenic, engineered by Section 3-1 by Ash Tyler. I just made that part up, actually. What Starfleet rank was held by Benjamin Sisko at the beginning of DS9?
I want to say B.
Oh, John B says C. Is anybody changing their answer?
No, I'll stick with B.
I'm going to stick with A.
It's C, as John B says. Good, though. Good little, whatchamacallit. What's the What's the Romulan term for their intelligence agency? That's a tough one.
Talsiar.
Yeah.
I know. It wasn't that tough. I was
That's
just trying to...
I was like, Zot Vash. I was like, fuck, what the hell is the Zot Vash? I know it's familiar.
They are... I think they're like a Maquis type thing, though. It sounds very familiar, the Zot Vash. I don't remember what they did. Maybe John B knows. He'll put it in the chat.
Sounds like an STD or something.
I got the Zot Vash itch. The Zot Vash rash. What's the name of the ancient Bajoran?
The Zot Vash are a secretive Romulan cabal and the main antagonist of the Star Trek Picard pilot Remembrance.
Okay. Oh, the elite Tal Shiar. All right. What's the name of the ancient Bajoran act that showed visions to the emissary?
gonna go with the orb of prophecy.
I'd say C. John got C too.
Orb of prophecy granted Cisco visions relevant to his role as emissary.
There you go.
3-leg got that one. What's the ancient language used by the preserve? I guess it's the
preservers.
The priogens. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say that's the answer, huh?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's C++.
Yeah.
Progenitor.
I agree.
I'm going to have to.
ESS. I'm sorry, CSS.
Yeah. Progenitor.
See how I did that? All of those were codes.
And transmission. Oh, that was embarrassing.
HTML.
Embarrassing having that blunder on my my slides. Sorry, fam. Star Trek fam.
Oh, wait. Go back.
Go back to
I
what?
Think I know where. I think I know where you're. I just realized. I think I know where that block came from. If you show that outline, that right there,
yeah.
I think it lined up with that side, the right-hand side, and then go forward one. Oh, no, it's off by like a millimeter or about a half an inch. I thought it was lined up with the block behind.
You know what that looks like is there's normally a menu right there, but I'm not showing the menu.
It is the exact same size as our draft blocks. When we used to do the draft blocks in the Excel spreadsheet and you would drag our names over.
John, what do you think?
This is called well, no, this is just Google Slides.
Okay. I don't know what you did the other one in before. What did you used to do? I
used to use Keynote.
Put in a Q&S.
But Google Slides is
nice, John.
Google Slides is convenient. Plus, it lets me play the audio when I do the quotes.
Gotcha.
If I use a PowerPoint or Keynote, I can't play the audio. It has to be embedded in the browser. So, yep, that's a technical limitation.
In the browser.
All right, so we're back. Okay, so let me bring up some of my beefs that I had with the episodes I was watching this week of Enterprise. Let me find my beefs because I was documenting my beefs.
I did want to remind you brought up something before about Enterprise before you get into your beefs.
All right.
I do want to remind you this is a all new crew. They've never experienced any of this stuff before. They're blind to it. They're the tip of the spear. No one has ever dealt with any of the things they've dealt with. So you got to take that with a grain of salt.
100%.
You're like, why the fuck did Archer do this shit?
Okay, so
all right, go ahead.
You're a normal person, right? You're a normal person.
My name is Jeff.
I watched an episode, season 2 Enterprise, called Communicator. So the premise of this episode is they go back to a pre-warp civilization and they're kind of, they're exploring, and Trip loses his communicator.
No, I thought it was Reed.
Was it Reed?
The communicator.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's Reed.
I remember this episode.
Okay. And so they go back to the ship and they're like, we got to figure out, where were you? Where did you go? And I'm thinking, if we lost our phones, what would we do? We would just go to our computer and do a find my phone or.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but if you think about when was Enterprise on? 1992 or something? They didn't have anything they didn't have Find My Phone back then.
Hold on. Enterprise was like 2000.
2002.
Oh, okay. So 2002.
So they had Find My Phone.
No, they didn't. There's no Find My Phone.
Yes, they did.
Well, I didn't even have. I had a flip phone.
You couldn't. There's no GPS in a phone. Somebody look up. Was there GPS in a phone?
John says they had GPS
in a phone.
Yes.
I don't believe it was in a phone. I could be wrong.
specifically in the Apple iPhone, we rode to New Mexico or Texas.
GPS, not in a phone.
Jacked someone's iPhone, and we used the Find My Phone app to track them down.
Not in 2002, you didn't.
It was 2 years before the club got started.
Well,
The club got started in 2004.
Look up when iPhone was invented.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks,
you're
John.
old.
Appreciate you, John B. Washington County, respect.
Oh, shit. Maybe I'm off there. What the hell fuck was that phone?
You're thinking of 2012.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. That
was concussion.
I don't know. That
Hold
was.
on, let's just find out, when did Find My Phone come out? Find My Phone.
Hey Siri, when did Find My Phone come out? Oh, she's muted.
It's like, I don't know.
Don't worry about it. You didn't have it.
June the 10th, 2009.
2009.
Here we go. June 10th, 2009.
All
Release it on the iPhone OS 3. Yeah, it was an old ass iPhone.
And
But did they go back and do that anyway?
Like John
eventually they did. Yeah, eventually they did use some kind of tracker to figure out where it was, and they were able to pinpoint the vicinity of
Okay,
where
at least
it
I got
was.
one thing right. I fucked up on everything else. I was done.
But let me ask you this question, because I think they were about to be hanged, right? In this episode, they were going to hang them because they accused them of being part of the... So I guess there were two warring factions in this primitive planet. And they're not that primitive. I mean, they've got like guns and,
They had the flying. They had the fighter jet. I don't know.
Right. They have like some kind of flying aircraft or something. But at the point where you're about to be hanged and you're making this decision of, well, the prime directive, and back then it was probably called something else, you know, like the don't interfere policy. Because I don't know if they had prime directive in Enterprise days. I don't think they called it the prime directive, but they still weren't allowed to reveal themselves to, you know, pre-warp civilizations. But as a person, at what point do you say, F the prime directive, I'm about to get hanged, I'm about to start phasering people?
It was originally called General Order 1.
Yeah. So do you sacrifice your own life for General Order 1, or do you say, you know what, people got to get phasered right now?
Well, it's saying that Section 1 Starfleet crew will obey the following with any civilization that has not achieved a commensurate level of technology and or societal developed as described in Appendix 1, whatever. No identification of self or mission. No interference with social, cultural, or technological development of said planet. No reference to space or other worlds or advanced civilizations. The exception to this is if said society has already been exposed to the concepts listed therein. However, in that instance, Section 2 applies.
So do you go ahead and take the court-martial? Or do you take the rope around your neck?
I would say no witnesses. I'd phaser everybody.
Yo.
Just tell Photon.
Target that shit.
Even spread.
One zap stuns, 2 zaps kills, 3 zaps vaporize.
Yeah.
And deny everything.
I just feel like especially if you think about, like you just said a few minutes ago, the Enterprise crew was new to all this, right? They weren't as disciplined as like the next generation crew, and especially like a Janeway. Janeway, I know, is taking the rope. Janeway is just like, hang me, I'll hang myself.
Janeway 1, Echo 3, set timer for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm killing everybody.
But I don't feel like Archer, I feel like they were... You get mixed messages from Archer's attitude. Like sometimes he's one way, sometimes he's another.
Archer ain't gonna do it because that's his daddy's engine. I can't let you take my daddy's engine.
But I don't think Archer's gonna let it. I just don't see it realistic with his character that he's gonna say, you know what, I just got to get hung rather than violate General Order 1. I think Archer is saying we about to just set to kill. Or at least set to stun. If they see phasers, then oh well. They're just going to think that their enemy has phasers now.
I think Archer would take the hanging. Pike is fucking shit up. I'm just saying it. I'm just seeing it that way. Archer, in that first season, he's going out
This season 2.
He's going out like a bit. Pike, however, I think he's fucking shit up.
Yeah, I just feel
Archer season 2. You know what? Archer season 2, he may fuck a little bit of shit up because he's got the Makos now. I think season 2. I think they start out with episode 1 or 2. They get a complement of Makos on board, so he now has the ability to fuck them up. Because I think the Makos come in to rescue them. Archer himself, though, man, he's probably sitting in his room, petting Porthos and watching a polo match and be like, whatever happens, happens. I didn't see it.
All right, next beef. It's an episode called Precious Cargo, where there's a distress call from a ship, and they say that they're like merchants or something, and they're transporting this girl who's in cryogenic sleep.
I remember that episode.
They should have just renamed it Love for Trip. But
it was a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang.
But how many episodes, and you could probably go back and count them all, does Archer just open arms to anybody who says they need help and then ends up, it's just like, it's a double cross. It's a double cross. Like at some point, when are you going to like check ID or check something? You gotta check, like do a scan of their ship or something.
You ain't getting in with them shoes.
Honestly, it's like every other episode of Enterprises. They're getting a fast one pulled on them because they just didn't bother to do one little ounce of investigation.
Yeah, he's a little too gullible.
So I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
It was around this episode, I think. I think there's another one after it and probably one more before that I'm like, what the fuck, you goddamn just naive.
Yeah.
Like, you've already got the shit kicked out of you. Your ship has nearly been destroyed. Even the people that aren't even on the ship are like, yo, you getting fucked up. There's some space marines, and yet you're like, every person you come across, you're like, hi, look how I got here. I got here by my daddy's engine. And yes, we're getting fucked up. And it's kind of like, at what point, and it doesn't actually happen till probably the last 5 or 6 episodes of the show, where he grows a set of balls and he's just like, I'm angry. And it's kind of like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it, but I'm still nice because look at my daddy's engine.
Well, I think the very next episode after Precious Cargo, which we appreciate what Trip was able to accomplish there, but the very next episode is called Catwalk, where they take on another ship that's in distress because of a warp speed ionic storm. And they're like, you got to be able to go warp. Okay, so I got a couple beefs with this. Yeah. So the fact that they just got swindled by the guys with the princess in cryogenic sleep that they had kidnapped, and they helped, and now they help another ship, and these are refugees that are wanted by some other military-based government or something, and they're just saying, well, we're stellar cartographers and we're traveling across the galaxy doing maps, and our ship can't evade this ionic storm that travels, I guess, faster than Warp 5 because Enterprise can't get away, and they have to stay in the catwalk because it's got better shielding or something.
And they're all huddled in there, and next thing you know, they're barbecuing or something.
Yeah, because the warp So anyway, there's the Enterprise gets boarded by like a military scout ship searching for those refugees because they're like AWOL from their military. And so they're like chasing them down, and they just think the Enterprise is abandoned. So they're aboard the Enterprise. They're trying to take control of it. And then I guess they decide to just head right into the storm. And then that crew says, oh man, they're just going to destroy their own ship. So let's get out of here. But again, Enterprise gullible and just helping random people without doing any kind of research and knowing anything about who they're helping. And it turns out that those people, they weren't even affected by that ion radiation.
Yeah.
They just needed a place to hide. And so they pretended, I guess, to be affected by it. But then Phlox checked them and they're like, yeah, these guys are immune to that radiation. But here's my biggest beef with this episode. Are you telling me that this is a 3-dimensionally super large storm traveling at warp speed where you couldn't have just dropped down 100 feet and been under it? How big has it? It's like, it reminds me of when when Tom and Jerry, and Tom is just running down railroad tracks and there's a train coming. All he's got to do is step off the railroad tracks. But he just keeps running down the railroad tracks. Why couldn't the Enterprise just drop down 100 feet? The storm will pass right over you. Even when you watch the episode, the storm's not that wide. I mean, yes, it's moving. It's wide this way, but it doesn't have height or whatever.
There's no height to it, yeah.
Right. So just drop down 100 feet or, drop down a light year. You can do that in Warp 5.
Reverse access.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've always had that beef with a lot of episodes of Star Trek over multiple series.
Like there's no 3-dimensional.
It's like they can only go in the XY axis.
Right.
Or X, is it XY?
Yeah.
They
2 dimensions.
never think of going up and down. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Except for 1 or 2 episodes where Riker is like, well, fucking just move up.
Yeah.
Like, Riker's like, reverse polarity or invert the axis, and the ship just moves out of the way. And it's like, why didn't you guys do that the last 3 episodes? Like,
and if it's that big, why didn't they turn before they saw it? As soon as they seen it, if it's that big.
How do you exact? Right
turn the
there,
wheel.
How did you get that close and not see it to begin with, where you can't move? If it's that wide, your sensors should have picked that up.
Again, it's like trying to outrun a car that's trying to run over you, and you're trying to run down the street and get, outrun it. Just step onto the sidewalk. Step onto the sidewalk.
We're talking sci-fi, but we're also talking human history. Did none of them ever watch Stand By Me? Like, these are kids in the 1920s. They dodged the train by, hey, let's move to the left or the right of the train.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I feel like it's like a giant frisbee traveling through space, like the Nexus, like even in the Nexus in Generations, you had to be at a specific coordinate for it to hit you,
Right.
And that thinking makes more sense than just this whole, like anywhere you are in the 3D plane, the Nexus is going to hit you. That's just not realistic. So yes, jump off the tracks and you'll be fine. After that, I watched an episode called Dawn. It's like, so Dawn is basically, Trip is testing, building an autopilot for the shuttle pod, and another shuttle pod attacks him. And they both end up crashing on this planet.
I remember that one.
And then they have to actually start working together.
Enemy Mine. Sorry. When I know which episode now, because it literally reminds me of the movie Enemy Mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they have to, but then what happens is when the sun comes up on this planet, it gets up to like 170 degrees or something. And the alien, he's like a lizard person or something. So he can't deal with it. But there is a scene where they get into a fight early on when they, because they're fighting a lot at the beginning of their confrontation, at their relationship. And Trip gets cut. And the alien just spits on him, and it heals his cut. And at the end of the episode, when they're found and they bring them both to Enterprise, and Phlox is working on the alien to help him recover and get his rehydrate or whatever.
Gotta get his electrolytes.
If I were Trip, I would have said, hey, by the way, his spit healed my deep cut in like 3 seconds. Maybe get a sample of that. Maybe have him spit in a cup or something. And let's take that technology and put it in one of our machines.
Replicator.
Yeah.
But I mean,
wait, did they have the replicator then?
They had protein resequencers.
Right.
But yeah, so there's just little things that kind of bothered me. That would have been important to me to point out to the doctor, like, hey,
immediately, like,
yeah, this dude,
especially saying as none of them have fucking seatbelts. So every time a bumper or whatever, somebody's flying across, instead of having to send your comms officer to sick bay, have a little douse a little spray bottle of the spit. You just spray down there and get back to work. Like, I mean, it's true. And my biggest thing is, why don't they have seatbelts?
They have inertial dampeners, whatever that is.
Yes, but even before then, and you see this in Star Trek Beyond, they had seatbelts. And in one of the episodes of Enterprise, I think they also had the straps, but they never use them. And somebody said, like you said before, well, they have inertial dampeners. Well, those inertial dampeners go offline. So why would you not put on, if you're in combat and you're already getting jostled and tossed around, why would you not put on emergency straps? Because inertial dampeners is not a priority thing. It's going to be one of the first things to go offline. So fucking strap in. I mean, look at fucking...
Riker.
What was it? No, the one where Deanna crashed, or where Riker crashes on the planet, where they do the saucer separation.
I said Riker.
My bad.
Oh.
But then, so this kind of touched on something. I watched this end of the movie, and I don't remember which movie it was, where they crash on the planet, and Data's like, oh shit. One, why didn't they put on the fucking emergency seatbelts that are built into them, because all the ships had them? Two, Riker before inverted polarity, and they knew their own ship was about to explode with a warp core breach. Why do they always point towards the planet? If they had pointed the Enterprise in another direction when they separated, if they had separated, here's the exploding part, here's the saucer, it's going down straight towards the planet. If you just went up, you wouldn't have crashed. And the ship would have been fine. But every time something explodes, they always point it at a planet. Like, are you just want to just get slammed into a planet and die?
Maybe it was a gravitational pull. I don't know.
I don't know, but it was one of those, you could have just reversed inverted axes and fucking, you would have been fine. Yeah, the lower half, the command module would have exploded and the warp core breach would have done that. That's fine. But everybody else would have lived, and you would have had a saucer section left over to at least stay in. And again, nobody would have had cuts and bruises on their faces and shit because there was no lizard spit spray to fix it. And then the other question is, where are those lizard people now? Because that was in Enterprise, and you would think, okay, 180, 200 years later, why have we not gone back there and be like, hey, can we borrow some spit? One of our guys who came back here way back in the day. Yeah, Trip, you remember him? Hey, he said you couldn't heal the ship. We just want to know, we're Federation, we're all peaceful. We got everybody's down with our clique. We just want to, do some medicine shit, because your shit really works really well. And again, no one's done it. 200 years. Where are they now?
Well, where's the three-legged people?
This is true. Yeah. And why has no one gone back to find Paris and Janeway's babies?
Oh.
from the salamanders. Where the salamander babies at?
Oh, by the way, we got the third chair ready for you.
Okay, that's going to take a lot for me to go there.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me find the angle for our viewers. So for our viewers, there's we got the third chair. Obviously we could
right here
move the camera a little bit so that it's fully in view, but it's all ready. What do you mean it's going to take a lot?
So I can't just hop up and go.
Vacation? What?
You get a vacation?
Who said something about oil, bitch?
I thought you're moving over here.
Oh, you're talking about then, yeah, that's good. That's a whole nother story.
He's building a bed over there.
Casting couch.
Yo.
Got a blanket on it and all.
If that happens, man,
got a casting couch with a UV light and you're good.
We're gonna have to have a bushcraft a Trek bushcraft episodes, because I'm all about the bushcraft shelter making and shit now. Like, I went to Home Depot to get some stuff to clear up mold and algae that's growing on the sidewalk, and I seriously had to stop. I was like, that little hatchet and machete combo pack, I could use that. I don't have either one of those in my go bags. I was like, I definitely could use that.
Yeah, everybody walks around with those around here.
A go bag? Oh, I think that's really important to have.
Machetes.
My go bag is more of an urban style. It's more medicinal stuff. I do want to build a new one that has more of the camping stuff in it, more of the survival. So I would have two.
When the zombies attack.
The apocalypse bag.
Yeah.
The bag of the apocalypse. Well, you never know.
Really,
yeah.
You really think about it, like, how many bags are you going to have? Like,
yeah.
You got a medicine bag, you got an urban survival one, or outdoor survival. I mean, that's 3 bags, and you're only one person. So.
And I'm thinking of a vehicle too. You just can't have a regular car. You gotta have something that can do stuff. 4-wheel drive.
Hydro powered.
You need that Subaru Outback with the solar panels on the top. That's the kind of shit. Like, I'm watching Outdoor Boys.
Grease. Food grease. From the
Hunan
Palace.
or I'm watching Van Life. People that are converting, just regular minivans and whatnot into livable places. One guy just did it with his Toyota pickup truck. Built a whole camper shell on the back. I was like, man, that's huge. But I saw that he made it taller, but he didn't make it any wider than the mirrors. So, like, when I have a thing like driving big vehicles, shit sticking out like that, and not realizing how wide your vehicle is. But if you limit it to the size of your mirrors, you can actually extend out pretty big. And height-wise, that's just like driving a U-Haul. You just got to know how tall it is and what you can and can't go under. But
see, I mean, based on what you're saying,
Star Trek.
Is I think if anybody is going to create a warp engine, it needs to happen with the older generation right now. Like,
yes,
millennials or older.
It needs to be millennials or older.
Or Gen X or older. Gen Z.
No, millennials isn't part of that. Gen Z, maybe. Select few. You got to be on the spectrum, probably.
Maybe.
But Gen Alpha, no.
Gen Alpha is doomed. I think Gen Alpha is doomed.
I think that's when we will get attacked.
If the problems ain't solved by then, because I don't see them figuring anything out.
Do you see them being able to repel an attack?
No, because they would cry.
They would find a safe place.
They would archer it. They would straight up archer it.
Yeah. So
I don't think we would survive.
Yeah.
So
Do we really have the intelligence to make something like this? You know, or is that reverse engineering? You know,
I see what you're saying.
I mean, in such a short time, I remember. I'm dating myself, but I used to watch Charlie's Angels. You know, the 3 detectives, and each of them had a car phone.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
Don't know what
man,
you're talking about.
Yeah, but to have a car phone, that would be so awesome, you know. And now everyone has a phone in their pocket, a camera, a state-of-the-art camera. You can we can do this through our phone, and are we that smart? Are we just really good at making things really, really tiny?
I think we are. I think, like we were just saying, you know, Gen Alpha wouldn't be. It has to be our generation. I think the generation before us made a lot of these inventions, and they took what social influencers do now. They do a lot of pictures and stuff, and do a whole big series of things, and then they stockpile it and slowly release it out over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like these things are being released constantly through the year, but it all got done at once, and it slowly trickled out.
I do that
so
at
it's
work.
kind of like, I mean, well, I was going to say like Tom doesn't work, but it's,
you got to space it out.
Like, it's like I said, like the space shuttle. When did you hear of the space shuttle? Probably 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
When it was actually done well before then. Same thing with the SR-71. Because think about it. Look how long the SR-71 was out, was released to the public, and then soon after was retired.
That's a stealth fighter, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not a stealth fighter. It's the long one.
The Blackbird.
Yeah, the Blackbird.
Yeah,
yep.
the Blackbird. So it came out, and then within 10 years, it seemed like it had retired. But it was because it was already out for 10, 15 years before you even knew about it.
Yeah.
I think that's where the technology comes from, is like microprocessors, quartz synchronization, RAM, EEPROMs, all those things, I think got developed and then slowly released over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks that way. And now we're getting to the point where, because the generation that made it is older and dying off, and it seems like that generation likes to gatekeep secrets, i.e. look at my mom, still doesn't want to tell me where the will or any paperwork is for the house when she's gone, is like for no reason, like what
It'll
the fuck?
It'll be like a game of National Treasure where you have to go find
It will. And that's why I told her, I'm just going off topic, but it is the exact same thing. I literally told her, I said, if you leave right now, none of your family members are going to want to spend the next month going through all of your paperwork and hidden little treasure troves trying to find this information that we need, that you're not here to provide to us. So just tell us where it's at now.
Sure. Otherwise, it'll be all in probate and never get to see anything.
Exactly. And they don't get that. Same thing with technology. They don't want to give that information out. So it's like, okay, well, guess what's going to happen? When it breaks, it breaks. No one's going to be able to fix it. You don't want to tell anybody how to fix it. You don't want to tell anybody where your blueprints are, specs are. It's just not going to get fixed. And then everybody's going to be asked out for no reason, out of your own pride. And I think we're at that point now where the people that made all these inventions and technologies, they're getting up there in years. They're not making them anymore. They're retiring. And we don't have that much of a class left of a generation that's making new stuff. Now, granted, we do have somebody that's coming up with the crystal computing, which I always wondered why they never made crystals into memory, because you can write on the crystals and grow crystals to hold all the stuff. There are those people that are putting those out, but then it's like, how long has that actually been out and working? You know, how much stuff has Elon made or Bezos made that just isn't out yet? That's just
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
A Voyager, where the guy keeps going back in time and just grabbing technology and from the future and then slowly releasing it into the past.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, you know,
Paradox.
Hell, look at iPhones. iPhones really haven't come up with anything new in like the last 10 iterations of the iPhone. It's just recycled, making stuff smaller, rearranging, the Tetris pattern to make it smaller, but no new technology. So I was feeling
we're kind of like stagnant.
That's an interesting point.
That's why, I mean, that goes back to my original question of, are we moving forward? Is future generations going to be able to move us forward enough to ever achieve space travel? Like long distance space travel?
And can we survive out there? I mean, there was two astronauts. I think they were twins, and one of them went up on the ISS for a year, and when he came down, he was no longer a twin. He was a little bit different. I can't think of the guy's name. But
there are things that change once you're in space like that, but you got people that are saying, "No, we never went to space because we can't get past the Van Allen belt or Van Allen belt."
Mark Kelly.
Hey, he was a governor in Arizona, wasn't he? Or ran for something in Arizona.
Like senator or something.
I'd put it to you this way. It's hard for us to rescue somebody in space. It's not so hard to rescue someone in the ocean in a controlled environment. So the question is, why are we not, if our ultimate goal is to leave the planet in a place of a vacuum and with tremendous pressures, why are we not exploring, not necessarily exploring the surface of the ocean, but exploring habitats in the ocean? Because one, in space is a vacuum, so you can get sucked out of space. The ocean is a positive pressure; you can get pressurized in, and the air actually gets sucked out. Just like the sub, the dude that built the sub with the PlayStation controller. Why are we not designing habitats that could survive that? Because if you could survive under that much pressure, let's just say you could survive at the depth of the final resting place of the Titanic, you're more than likely going to be able to survive in space or on another planet. So if you can make a self-sustaining habitat with your own solar lights, own grow. I just watched the YouTube video of a guy that's basically, it's how many plants do you need to breathe to basically recycle air on your own. And he was doing it with algae and some other stuff. And this is just a YouTuber that's doing this. And he made progress in it. Why isn't the government or anyone else doing that?
Well, they probably are. They just
but
ain't
it's not
telling
on
us.
A public level like Elon launching a fucking roadster into space. Which is, where's that roadster at now?
Jupiter.
Is it?
It'll catch up with Voyager.
It's probably in orbit. That's probably how you're getting.
Oh, you basically just have a car in orbit.
It's they turned it into a Starlink satellite.
So, in all seriousness, I wanted to know what happened to the car that he launched, because was there air inside the tires? Because wouldn't that explode? Also, is that a regular just paint job? Wouldn't the paint have peeled away and the leather and all that disintegrated or been destroyed by solar lights? Because there's no UV protection.
I think it was originally a red car. And I thought I heard something somewhere where it turned white because of the radiation, the solar, whatever. It's just bleached everything. Just like the United States flags that were planted on the moon. I understand those are white now. I don't know. I heard it somewhere.
We went to the moon?
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shit right there. That's what I'm talking about. How are you going to gatekeep how we got to the moon if I can have ChatGPT print out the specs on how to launch and reach the moon? And it gives me all the shit right there. How are we launching and landing on Mars, yet you can't reach the moon?
You're asking some questions that are going to get us shut down in the algorithm.
Hey man, this
the
is
men in black
correct.
are coming and pick us all up.
NSA is tapped in right now.
This does lead me back to the Trek aspect of, why do we never see what's on the other planets. We saw
My friend is obviously Chinese.
And-
Caught his head in a mechanical rice picker.
I think it was Enterprise. Yeah, I think it was Enterprise. Enterprise goes to. They have a shuttlecraft that goes to Mars, where they're trying to save some. Oh yeah, T'Pol's baby. They genetically make a hybrid baby of Trip and T'Pol there. That's the closest we ever see of any other planet within, the Earth's solar system. But we never see anything. We saw that made up planet, made up station, Mars station. It's a mining place. But we never see anything on Starbase 1. We never see anything on the moon. Why is Enterprise so... I get, you want to see out there, but shit, we need a series that's showing how we got there. Okay, he made a warp engine. You can go to other planets. Well, take that warp engine and go to the moon, and let's drop some supplies on the moon. Let's start building a base there, and we could build more of these things. Or let's drop it on Mars. We never see how we progress from just... We're flying jets to all of a sudden we got a warp engine, and now we're talking to Vulcans.
Would you rather see
in between?
Would you rather see that or a series that picks up from after Picard?
I'd rather see that. I want to see what picks up after Enterprise leaves First Contact. I want to see a show where it starts out. You see them, Zephyr Comics, shaking hands. Oh, we got to go, blah, blah, blah. They get transported up. They go off to the Enterprise. You see the Enterprise warp out of the atmosphere. And then it goes back to the planet with Zephyr Cochrane and everybody else down there. What did they do?
So you're talking about
morning?
the NX-01. So while the NX-01 is out traveling, you want to see what's going on Earth.
No. I'm talking literally, I want the series to start out the last 2 minutes of First Contact.
Oh.
So
and how they get to building an entire spaceship.
So you show the end of the last 2 minutes of First Contact, and then they leave, and then the camera pans back down to Earth. What's Zephyr Cochrane and his crew doing the next day? How did they land that ship? Did they land the ship? Because you see it take off and launch, but you never see it come back. Did it come down on impulse engines? Did it have thruster jets? How did they refuel it?
The Vulcans. See, now the Vulcans are like, hey, you guys are going to be our pet project.
I'd like to see what happens after that.
There's probably books about it.
Picard, you could technically do the same thing that you did with Voyager and Enterprise and have them overlap. I don't think it would end well, but you would have to because
speaking of books, our viewers are now seeing the USS Enterprise Officer's Manual.
I wonder when Space Academy's coming out, or Starfleet Academy's coming out. What time setting is that at?
31st.
They say it's going to be Discovery, or after
the future
Discovery timeline.
So there's still going to be the gap after Picard.
I would like to see the beginning.
Yeah,
and that's guess what? Guess what? The show right after my show could lead to that.
Yeah.
Hey, we need a Starfleet Academy. We're gonna have all these people going out to space and whatnot, and we're gonna have to joint up with the rest of the world because it can't just be a U.S. based thing. Because now we got aliens, and we're all aware of alien ships, and everybody tracked it. So I don't know if you ever watched Stargate. PPG, did you ever watch Stargate?
Not yet. Okay. There's so much stuff I need to catch up on.
So you would have to show. In that show, you would have to show how the world came together. to lead into Starfleet, basically, and how it's obviously would start out with military aspect and nationwide and exploration and science, but then you're like, well, shit, we gotta have more than one ship to do this. Oh, we can now leave and go explore our own solar system. Like, hey, let's go send a ship down to Jupiter. Oh shit, we lost that ship because of gases, whatever, and Neptune and all these other planets. You could show actually your exploration of your own solar system first. Then you can leave, because we never see any of that. How did the Plantatia, whatever, where they start building the shipyards? We never show any of that stuff. As far as we know right now, the furthest you've gotten is you got the rover and whatever on Mars. That's it.
All right.
So I definitely think a show like that would hit, and maybe that's the kind of show we need to move back to get our younger in real life generation excited about science again.
Well, right Strange New World season 3 needs to be good. If Strange New World season 3 is not like at least like an 8 out of 10, man, I don't know if Paramount Plus is going to keep dropping these Star Trek projects, like keep investing in it, because they'll end up with like a Discovery, which I mean we enjoy watching it, but I don't know if normal people like watching something like Discovery, like first timers.
No.
It's ironic enough that you mentioned that, because I think it comes back to exactly what you brought up at the beginning about the time travel. Because the executives that are canceling the shows are the ones that are limiting budgets and limiting the shows from being good enough to warrant the rating, getting the ratings, which warrants the budget, which warrants them making another season. And it's because you have some executive there that's just saying, oh, we're not doing good enough. Well, they're not doing good enough because they're not giving them enough money and time and talent to make it good enough. You're basically doing a self-fulfilling prophecy of making a shitty show that gets 1 or 2 seasons and then leads to maybe a third, if that. And it's all because you didn't give them enough faith, or as the Enterprise song, didn't put enough faith in the heart, or whatever that lyric is.
All right, Nickelback.
It's not Nickelback, by the way. I looked that up. I was wondering that. I was like, did Nickelback or Creed sing the song? It's this dude who said he was heavily influenced by Nickelback and Creed, but it's a shitty song to begin with.
All right. Well, on that note,
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Trevor poop. See how I did that?
You got any closing thoughts, PVG?
Words of wisdom.
When I first watched the original series, you see the massive Enterprise, and it's going up in space, and I originally assumed that it was built in pieces in orbit in space. And then the Kelvin timeline where that Enterprise is made up in a cornfield. And I'm thinking, that is so stupid. That how can you have that thing that massive withstand the gravity? But right now we have this SpaceX ship. I don't know if you ever seen the size of this thing compared to the human guy standing next to it. It's like one of these big corn silos, a huge corn silo, going up in the air and then coming down and landing. I'm thinking, wow.
So that's different than the flying dildo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get it.
So you're thinking, like the space shuttle. Well, the space shuttle had a massive, like those fuel, canisters, I guess.
The SRBs?
Yeah.
And the mains?
And the O-rings.
None of large. See, I'll put it to you this way. Here's how you can put it in perspective. A space shuttle can sit on the back of a 747.
Yeah.
And the SRBs and the main rocket and the main fuel tank were not that much longer than the entire length of the space shuttle. So neither one of them, even if you could put them all on the back of a 727, it wouldn't be any bigger than a commercial airplane.
I would love to see a SpaceX launch and landing.
Live?
Yeah, live. I would love
In
to
person?
in person. That's what we need to do.
They're apparently all out here.
Can you hear it from where you are, or no?
Oh fuck no.
Yeah, you can. You just gotta look out the window.
No. They're all in Southern California.
Oh,
Like a couple of launches you could see from Phoenix, but that's once they hit the upper atmosphere, and you could see like this weird kind of contrail, I guess, distortion. But if you go out to Southern California, or I guess I don't know if that's where Vandenberg is at. There's some bases out there where they do their launches from that you could see. It used to be, it was on the news all the time. Oh, people are calling out about this weird thing. It's just SpaceX doing another rocket launch again. So apparently there's places you can sign up to go see them, and you're notified when the launches are going to be and where you can go to watch them without interfering with it.
You can fly your drone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No.
Most likely.
I'm retarded?
All right. What's your closing thought?
My closing thought is I've seen recently this thing with magnets and being repelled. It's actually been a long time thing that I've kind of already known about, how magnets act, but now it's getting to a point where they are looking at putting it into more commercial use, kind of like mag trains in Asia, but putting it in everyday usage of building it into the concrete. So literally you could get to a point where you have the hovercraft skateboard from Back to the Future, where a guy was like, hey, I can build this paddock that's 20 by 20, put these little magnets in the ground that repel to a certain extent, and then build a board that has the same type of magnet and reverse polarity and attraction polarity, so you don't go flying away, but it keeps you at a steady level where you can literally just float across the ground.
And you're saying we're one step closer to Star Trek world.
I think with that, magnetism and gravity is going to be the key things. I keep having this weird thought that it's closer than we think. It's like one of those, it's been in front of us the entire fucking time.
Or it's just secret.
No, I think it's one of those, it's been in front of us the entire time and we just never connected the dots. So I think that's one of the biggest things with it. I've also been following this dude that's making a hovercraft out of drone parts, or it's literally, he could stand it and ride it. And it's basically like a huge ass drone with 16 motors or whatever on it. I'm like, is this where we're getting closer to the Iron Man Star Trek phase of things? But and the older I get, the less I think we're gonna see it in our lifetime. I think the crewman Tommy's kids may start to see it when the youngest kids will start to see it, or the grandkids will start to see it more and more. But unless there's a massive natural disaster to pull the world together, alien
invasion,
contact, just contact, alien contact. I don't think we're going to be alive to see it in our lifetime.
I remember President Reagan saying it would take alien attack to bring the world together. I remember hearing that as a kid, and I'm thinking, wow, what's he talking about?
Because we can't settle on anything and just on a normal civilized scale.
Right.
There needs to be something bigger than everyone to pull everyone together.
So that we call ourselves us. And the aliens are them.
Like the United States when Twin Towers came down. Everybody came together. Whether it didn't matter what political party you were affiliated with. Everybody came together.
Yep. All right. Well,
That was a little
No,
bit,
ain't no
by the way,
party
this
like a
last
beauty
part of
party.
our discussion here at PVG, that is a little bit of what our old podcast used to be, the Technically and Sound. That was kind of how our discussions were originally. We're about these kind of life things here. Not just Star Trek, but just life in
Oh, I
general.
like it. I like it.
I don't know. I think it was more about wiping our asses and
I can't put it
All right,
started.
so that was a legit start. I was trying to let that one go.
that was definitely old podcast material.
I mean, Crewman Sherry just kind of dropped off after that.
Yeah.
They're talking about
I was
poop.
like, maybe they're talking about poop. Exactly.
Yep.
So I was like, let me just let that one go.
Well,
Wow.
on that podcast, it was no topic was taboo except for like politics and stuff. We didn't really dabble too much into that. But everything else, yeah, we dived in. But yep, John B is out. I think thanks for tuning in, John B. We appreciate you.
Talk to you later, John.
Washington County in the house. We're gonna wrap it up because El Bano is calling for me, and this shirt's a little tight. Gotta.
Nah. You're just tired of sucking it in all night, aren't you?
Yes, I have been.
There's some points where it's like, hey, the bottom half is kind of smooth, and now it's wrinkly. It's smooth.
It's tough to suck your breasts in, but then you have to think about it. You have to think. Well, the YouTube audience isn't seeing all that, and when I did go to the wide shot, I was straining the suck in, but
Gotcha.
all right, cool. We're gonna watch more Trek episodes this week and have more conversation for next Sunday. And I got to get Crewman Patty out here to do some more quotes on the casting couch. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, we'll talk about this next time. Crewman Patty might be doing a podcast with one of her friends. So we'll see. We'll just give a little plug if they end up doing that. But they have been asking for like some pointers and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, are they going to be using the Technically and Sound set, or are you building?
They might be. They might have me set up some mics and cameras over on the casting couch.
Okay.
So that Crewman Patty likes that little setup better for like girl talk type stuff. So that would be good for them.
Okay.
But
yeah, definitely. Let us know when they go
something
on.
to look forward to.
Support.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in once again. Subscribe and like this video, comment, and share.
Nanu.
We'll catch you guys next Sunday. Peace be with you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I can't do that.